Tutorials by Andrew Buckle. In this tutorial for Photoshop CC 2014, I'm just going to show you how you can use this background design, which was created using patterns and random fills, how you can use that as a source for a line which can be then used as yet another random fill. Now, got this design, so it's quite a large design. It's not seamless, but since it's fairly large, you can actually use it quite nicely as a backdrop for, say, a nice little shape layer. So I'm just going to go to a layer, and it's actually flattened already, so I'm just going to go now, define pattern, edit menu, define pattern, click OK. So once you've actually got that pattern, you can now, I'm just going to remove it now, so make it back to new, and I'm just going to go to the shape rectangle tool and shape there, and instead of that fill, obviously I'm going to be using that pattern there. Now just apply it just like that, and of course I can move it around, don't actually have to go with that. I can actually just quickly resize it. I can actually of course rotate it as well. I don't have to go with just up and down. I can go the other direction, so you can actually add more of the previous things. Now you can actually see the lines in there, the seam, so that shows you it wasn't a seamless pattern, but you can get rid of that quickly just by resizing it slightly. So now you've got that design. Now I can just go to click OK and a layer style. I'm just going to add a shadow again to this. Now if you want to actually colour it at this point, you can actually add a colour overlay, so you can just go colour overlay, and of course just gets rid of it completely, but you can go say darken, lighten, many possible options, and maybe change the colour from grey to maybe green, and that sort of thing. Click OK. So once you've done that, now you can define that as a pattern, and I'm just going to move that over slightly, and I'm going to use the rectangle marquee tool. But before I do all that, I want to actually delete the background, because the one thing I want to do is actually the random fill, and I want to use the script. Works better without any background, so I'm just going to remove the background. That's why it's best to do it on obviously on a layer. So get rid of that just via the layers palette. Once you've done that, you can then go to rectangle marquee tool. Just going to select that area, and now edit and define pattern. So you're still using that color design, of course, which you can still recolor. You can modify it in a number of ways. Apply effects, maybe another possibility. Now go back to the new, and now I can go to edit and fill and random fills. Of course, choose the one there, select that, select the script option, click OK. Now you've got a preview dialog. It comes up. It's not always accurate. I'm not really actually, to be honest, certain whether it is just a little snapshot. So sometimes when you actually apply the result, you'll end up with just that little area. It depends, I think, on the background, the size of the tile. I'm not certain. But now what you can do, you can modify the density, but it gives a reasonable idea of what you're going to get at the end. That's the key thing. Modify the color randomness again. You can see the one thing with this color randomness now, you can actually get a nice little variation color. You can see the actual previous pattern as well in the design. So click OK. And like I say, there you end up with that's a very close-up image. Of course, you can get around that just going new, and I'm just going to do that again. Edit and fill. Click OK. And go and bring up the dialog, and you can just resize the scale settings. That's going to be better. Again, this will not really match the end result, but you can modify the scale down. So I'm going to do the same. So you'll see now it's going to come very, very small, but the end result probably won't match that sort of like confetti kind of thing. Right, there you have it. You've got another thing. If you want to actually apply it, you can apply it once or twice. It's probably best to actually apply it on a layer. So if I actually apply that again, so I just go say edit, fill, apply again, it's not always going to fill up the entire screen. I'll just quickly show you that. So edit and fill, click OK. Again, you can see the texture that's in the click OK, and it will just generate. It's a bit better. But I think personally, I find that using layers makes it much easier. And one thing with layers, you can always remove them. So if you actually end up with a result you're not particularly happy with, or you want to say maybe modify the colour of one particular layer, or apply effects. So if you want, say, like a blur effect in between the layers, you can just go and apply the blur to that layer and then you sort of build it up multiple times. So it creates an interesting, colourful and textured background in Photoshop. I'm using Photoshop CC 2014. That's with random fill feature. There was earlier versions as well, but it didn't have the dialogue. So now with the latest version, you just got that dialogue. Adds a bit more facility to see the sort of roughly the result.